seats at all times. This boat is fully equipped with a full complement of life jackets and life rafts. The life jackets are stowed underneath the fixed seating in the lower level and in a locker on the upper deck, clearly marked with green signs. All exits are clearly marked. From the lower saloon, there are doors at both sides of the vessel, or you can exit through the sliding windows. The upper deck is easily accessible by steps either side of the lobby. In the unlikely event of an emergency, the captain will give you full instructions. For your own safety, and in particular for any young children on board, please remain seated as much as possible.
Hello and welcome to your London Eye River Cruise. My name is Ithia and I'll be your guide for today. Before we start with the tour, I will ask you to remain seated throughout the majority of the cruise for your own safety, and so please do not stand on the upper deck as this can obstruct the captain's view of the river. We have free audio guides in 8 languages available from the lower saloon. The languages included are Spanish, French, Italian, German, Russian, Mandarin, Japanese and Dutch. So if you require an audio guide in one of these languages, please speak to one of my colleagues. However, I do understand the irony that if you can't understand English, you probably didn't understand what I just said. If you haven't already guessed by my accent, I am Spanish, so bienvenidos, and I hope that you enjoy our tour through the River Thames. So, right at the beginning, we were under Westminster Bridge, which gets its name from the area of Westminster to our right, which has been attributed to the monarchy for many centuries and has been home to many historic royal palaces. In 2000, to celebrate the millennium, and originally was granted planning permission for only 5 years. But in July 2002, landed councillors voted unanimously to grant the London Eye permanent planning permission on its South Bank side. The London Eye has 32 fully enclosed capsules, one for every borough of London, though they do number up to number 33, as the unlucky number 13 has been previous buildings of the South Bank Centre. This is a brutalist building, one which Prince Charles famously described as looking like a nuclear power station. It contains 3 theatres, the largest being the Olivier Theatre, named after Laurence Olivier, famous actor, and the first direction of the National Theatre. And if theatre is not your thing, next to it, the white building behind the trees, is the ITV Studios. ITV is the second largest broadcasting group in the UK ship, which is a reconstruction of the Golden Hind. In 1577, Francis Drake set sail from Plymouth to capture treasures from Spanish ships returning to Spain from the New World. On his return 3 years later, he had become the first Englishman to circumnavigate the world. Over 11,000 tons of steel provide a framework for the towers and walkways of the bridge, with over 15 million iron rivets holding it all together. The towers themselves have been clad in Cornish granite to give the bridge a more pleasing appearance and help it blend in with the Tower of London nearby. The baskets we can see in the middle of the bridge weigh 1,200 tons each and open on average 1,000 times a year to let tall ships through. In Tower Bridge's first year of being open, though, the baskets were raised over 6,000 times, as the area we're now in was one of the busiest ports in the world, the Old Port of London. During its resurgence in the late 1950s and early 1960s, the port would have seen some of 15,000 ships and 9,000 barges, loading and unloading cargoes into warehouses lining the Thames banks. It is through this archway that many of those accused of high treason would have entered the tower to be imprisoned and most likely await execution. Though most executions took place outside on Tower Hill, a few would have been held on Tower Green inside the Tower grounds, such as that of Anne Boleyn. Besides being a prison, the Tower of London has had many other uses throughout history. It has been a royal zoo, an observatory, a royal mint, and home to the crown jewels for over 700 years. And to our right, we can see some of the newest structures to have been completed in London, which are currently situated in the oldest part of